Hello students, congratulations on finishing Holes. Now that we have wrapped up reading the book, we're going to get into discussing our final project for this unit. We're going to be creating a storyboard, and I'm going to show you how to do that shortly. First though, let's cover a few things that you need to make sure you have done before you begin work on your final project. First things first, and most importantly, you want to make sure you have completed all parts of the novel. If you have any chapters left, definitely finish them up before you try to begin work on anything else. Next, you want to make sure you've completed and turned in all parts of the book journal, or checkpoint 2. Now keep in mind, we've been working on this throughout our entire reading of the novel, so you should already have this mostly completed and just need to turn it in. Now of course you'll navigate to checkpoint 2 like I've been showing on screen, and you'll get into your book journal. Go through all of the chapter sections of Holes, make sure that you've completed all of the summaries and all of the parts that ask you to add a passage. You don't have to do the challenge part unless you want to. Now to receive credit on this, I need you to copy and paste everything into another document on Summit. You're going to right click, press select all, and then click copy after right clicking again. We'll then need to navigate back to that overview page for our project, and then you are going to go to the top portion where it has the checkpoint symbol. You're going to go from the bottom book journal up to where it says book journal with the checkpoint. Now all you need to do is paste. You'll go into this final turn-in document, right click, select paste, and then you're going to go up to the top right corner and click where it says request feedback. This is going to allow me to easily know that you are done so that I can go in, check everything, and give you credit for your book journal. Now, the last thing we're going to do before we begin work on our final project is to check our progress on all other assignments this quarter and make sure that we are totally caught up and ready to be done. If you've been keeping up with the grade chart that I've been sending weekly in emails and also posting weekly on Google Classroom, you'll note that just about everything has been highlighted yellow at this point, meaning that it is done and turned in. Now let's go over the assignments that are highlighted green, because those are what we're still going to need to turn in before this quarter is done. First on that list is your book journal. Of course, we just finished turning that in, so you're solid on it. Next thing to highlight is that final power focus area for this quarter, and that is Theme 6. Now this isn't due until December 15th, but you might want to go ahead, go into that, and see if you can pass it before then. Finally, we have the two parts of our final project, the explanation to the director and the storyboard itself. Now let's discuss those two parts and what you need to do to get 100 on each. So obviously you want to know, what is my final project? Since you've done final projects in all of your other classes so far this year, you have some idea that doing a final project in Summit usually involves you creating something. So for language arts, as we've discussed a few times, you will be creating a storyboard illustrating a scene or episode from the plot of Holes. Think back to the very start of our project, which at this point was quite a while ago. You all watched a video of the directors of the movie Toy Story going through a storyboard for their movie. In that, they broke apart a scene part by part, piece by piece, showing different panels of events happening in that episode from their movie. If you want to see a really good example of a storyboard being taken apart and discussed, you can get back to this by going into checkpoint 1 and going to your first assignment there. You guys are essentially going to be doing exactly what those directors of Toy Story did. You're going to be breaking apart a scene from Holes as a visual representation. Next, we're going to discuss how you are going to actually complete that storyboard and by extension that final project. There are two steps to it. The first is the explanation to the director, and the second is the creation of the storyboard itself. Let's go over that explanation to the director. For it, you're going to go into the Stories and Storyboards with Holes project on Summit. You are going to navigate down to the very bottom where it says explanation to the director and click it. Now ignore the red text at the top, and you are going to go to where it actually says explanation to the director next to that blue star. Once you click it, it's going to open up your document that you're going to use for that. That document looks like this. What you're going to be doing in this sheet is explaining to me, the teacher, who is kind of acting as the director in this case, what you are going to be illustrating in your storyboard. So if you start at the top with the directions that says explain in detail what you will be creating for your storyboard project. Discuss the following in complete sentences with at least 2 to 3 paragraphs to receive full credit. Number 1 says, what scene or episode from the book will you be illustrating for this project? Remember, you are not choosing a chapter or multiple chapters. This isn't tons and tons of different parts from the book wholes. You are choosing one scene or one episode from within a chapter to illustrate. Number 2 said, why did you choose this part of the story? Why do you think this part of the story is important to the plot of our novel? And number 3 says, what will you show in your panels to illustrate the different parts of this scene? You definitely want to use this as sort of a planning exercise. How am I going to complete my storyboard? And you're going to explain to the teacher enough to where if they go into their storyboard and look at it, they know what part of the novel you chose. Once you're completely confident in what you've created, you feel like you've got a good explanation to the director, go up to the top right corner and click where it says Submit Final Product. Now let's talk the storyboard itself. You have 2 options on how you create and submit this. You can create a paper copy, take a picture, submit that picture, and be good, or I have a digital template that I'm going to be uploading on Google Classroom. Whichever version you do, you'll have a few expectations that you have to complete no matter what. First off, your episode should focus on one important part of the plot. For second, your storyboard must have 6 to 9 drawings or images. Each should show important details, characters, ideas, and actions. And finally, you must include at least 2 quotations from the novel. No matter what, your storyboard must have those 3 things in order to receive full credit. Let's go over some tips to do this the physical way. Paper works, but I would recommend poster board just because you'll have more room to work with. Your boxes, or panels in this case, can be different sizes if you want them to be, but try to use a ruler or something else to make sure they're at least kind of straight. Remember, this isn't being judged or graded based on your artistic ability. It's being graded on the fact that you got all of those requirements in. Remember to use things like speech bubbles to put in actual quotes from the text, hopefully longer than just one-word quotes, by the way. And add some color. Make it pop as much as you can. Even if it doesn't look perfect, you can show that you've put effort into it. Finally, you're going to go into that final storyboard page on Summit for the project. Go up to where it says Insert at the top. Choose your image file that you have downloaded onto your computer. Select it, and then paste it on this document. It's usually a pretty easy process. The difficulty you'll have is getting it from a camera to your computer. The other option to complete this is with the digital version. You'll find a storyboard template Google Slides presentation posted on Google Classroom. It'll be labeled as Storyboard Template Wholes Project. Now you can adapt this however you want to, but it has a good starting template with slides already posted that you can add stuff to digitally. There are a ton of different ways that you could go about creating this storyboard using the digital format, and I encourage you to get creative. For the example on the screen, I just took an image from the movie of Wholes, and I'm adding in a speech bubble so that I can add in text for a quote from the book. Another option that works really well that you might not have considered is to open up the Paint program on your computer and actually create a scene drawing something with your mouse. Now, it can be a little bit hard to draw things with your mouse, but there are a lot of just like available shapes and tools that you can use to help you put things in there. And it is easy to get speech bubbles and to put quotes within those if you need to. Now, when you have between 6 and 9 different panels completed and filled in with good details, and you've completed all of those requirements to receive full credit, you're ready to turn in your project. Navigate back to that final project storyboard page. Make sure you've either submitted your picture of your physical version or you've submitted your digital copy on Google Classroom, and then go up to the top right corner of the page and click Submit. Now, once you've completed that and everything else we discussed earlier in the video, you will be 100% completed for language arts for this quarter. Now, you'll still need to tune in for our Zoom meetings next week if you happen to finish this before this week ends. But other than that, that's all your work, and that's all you need to know to complete your final project in language arts. If you have any questions, please reach out to me over email. I would be glad to help or be glad to walk you through different steps to get this done. Thank you. Have a great day.